Hello everyone, today I'll show you how to create a simple part in SimLab. This is the heatsink that we will be creating today. So this heatsink will have numbers of parameters or variables that can be changed or varied in the design of experiments purposes. So we have number of fins, we have fin thickness, we have fin height, we have base thickness, we have the base width, and we have the spacing between each fin, which is the air gap here. So we'll go ahead and head into SimLab to get started. So in order to create a sketch or a part for design of experiment purposes, the first and foremost thing that we need to be creating is the list of variables. So to create a list of variables, we're heading into Sketch. We click on Variables Manager, and we'll start inputting our variable list. So here, I'll have the number of fins, fin thickness, fin height, base thickness, base width, and I'll talk about the spacing later on because it is a function of two variables, fin thickness and base width. So for the fin number, because it's a number, so it's unitless. So we need to choose unitless for this. And other than that, it will be length. We need to be choose type as length. Alright, so this is all we need for now. Go ahead and close it. To create a new sketch, we click on New Sketch. And here we can choose the plane on which we will be sketching. I'll be choosing X and Z plane for convenience. Click on it and we open up the sketch. We'll start by creating the straight line for the base first. So in order to assign the dimension, or in order to assign the variables, we need to click on dimension and click on the line, drag it down, and there's the FX button here, assign variables. We click on the base width, which is 120 millimeters. In order to so we want the origin to be a midpoint of this base for convenience. We'll click on the line and we'll find the origin, which is here. Hold Control and click on it. Right click. We open up the panels there, and there is many constraints on from which we can choose from. We'll click on the midpoint. And this is the line that we just created, and it's fully defined. I'll go back to the XZ plane, drag this down, and from here we create the base thickness. We click on the straight line. We have this. We want it to be coincide with this. Drag it up. I'd like to do the same thing to the other end too. We want these two ends to be equal, so click on it, both of them, hold Control, right click, and open up the panels, and we can choose equal. So this is a base thickness, so we want to assign a variables for them. Assign variables. And here we go. So this is the base. So I'll go ahead and open up the fin width. Oh, this is underdefined, so we need to make it vertical, so it's fully defined now. I'll go ahead and create the fin height. This is the fin width, and we create another line to close up the fin sketch. So these two lines need to be equal. So I'll go ahead and assign the dimension for both of them. This is the fin height, and this is the fin width. No, this is the fin width. Yes. Fin thickness. So I'll go ahead and create another endpoint for the number of fin. Fin height, fin thickness, and these two lines equal. So it needs to be vertical constraint. So it's fully defined here. So we go ahead and draw the spacing. So as I mentioned before, the spacing is a function of fin thickness and base width. So go ahead and create a new spacing variables. So the spacing will have a function as this. We close the variables miniature. Dimension, assign this as a spacing. Okay, so we have this. So we need to create a pattern so that we can create like multiple fin without doing the tedious job. So at entity to pattern, we'll choose 4 line. This, 2, 3, and 4. For the direction, we need to, it's a linear on this line. We'll go ahead and choose it. So spacing, I'll talk about this spacing. So just arbitrarily assign this as 25 now. and copies. So you see that it's going this way. We want it to go the other way. So click on plus and minus reverse direction. There we go. So because the spacing input in this panel is going to be the very first line of the first entity we chose to the next entity. Spacing input in this panel is going to be the thickness minus the spacing, the new spacing variables that we put in here, because we want the sketch to be closed and these 2 points coincide. So we'll go ahead and close it for now. We'll create a new variables. We call this as a spacing input. That's going to be the fin thickness plus the spacing. So exactly 3 millimeters more than the spacing. Go ahead and close it. And we open up the linear pattern again. So add entities to pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. Direction, we choose the horizontal direction. So we want it to go the other way. Click on reverse direction. Spacing, we choose the spacing input that we just created. So see these 2 coincide. And let's say a number, create a fin number here. You see that we will create exactly so that the last element touches the first elements here. And create. So for now, we basically done. You can go ahead and go into the variables to check if we have done it correctly. I would like, let's put the variables here. I'd like to change it to, let's say, 6. You'll see that we've automatically changed the number of fin. So even though it's 6, it's created like 7 because we just create like the endpoint fin. So just keep that in mind. It won't be exact. It wouldn't be like number of. So this fin number is going to be like the number of actual fin minus 1. So if we want 6 fin in total, it's going to be 5. And we are basically done. Let's put 8 for fun. And we can increasing the thickness of each fin. Let's say this is 3. I'll put this as 4. We'll like thicken up the fin accordingly. Let's say I want to put the base thickness as 5. It will like automatically change everything. So let's go ahead and reverse this back because it's too crowded. Put this as 6. All right. So in order to extrude this fin, we'll go ahead and click on the sketch. We realize the sketch as multiple bodies. Click all faces. Let's create like a new model, which is a sketch body here. We want to extrude this face. We click on the face selection and choose the face. We go ahead and click move it. Move it out. We click fill. Click as 50. Let's say put 100 millimeters. Okay, there we go. We have created the fin. If you want to go ahead and choose like different parameters or different number of fin, we need to delete this part. go back into the variables manager and choose it. Choose different number of fins. Let's say I put 9 here, which is really dense, crowded. I'll put the fin thickness as 5 millimeters this time, and 5 millimeters. And let's suppose that I want to have the base width to be put this as 200. Let's create like bigger heat sink. Go ahead and go back to assembly browser. We realize it as because we only have one sketch, one closed sketch, so it doesn't matter really if we choose a single body or multiple bodies. Go ahead and do it again. Move, face. Field, and let's say I want it to be 100 millimeters. There we go. That's how we create the simple parts where we can with the multiple variables for the purpose of design of experiments. In this tutorial, we have created a simple part for design of experiment purposes. We are introduced to variable manager and how to use basic sketch features, such as assign dimensions and create functions in the variable managers. We can extrude the sketch by move features with a few options. This sketch can be manipulated freely by changing any parameters in the variable manager, and finally be ready to be imported into DOE.